What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What's going on, everyone? I hope we are all doing extremely well. We got a ton of news to go over in return of Major League Baseball. We have this crazy free agent frenzy going on. So we have so much stuff to talk about in today's stream. I see you guys are blowing up the comment section already. I appreciate it. But before we get into all of today's topics, please, everyone, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, subscribe to this channel, tell your friends about this channel. If you have to make an account for your pet, definitely do that. And of course, if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns relating to anything Major League Baseball, do not hesitate. Feel free, drop it in the comment section below. It could be about the Mets, it could be about the Phillies, it could be about the Royals, anything. I just like to talk baseball, even the Rays. Why the heck not? So let's stop wasting any more time and let's take a dive into the chat. What's going on, everyone? Logan, Trey, what's going on? Goatwater Sports says, hey, Hayden. Yes, man, I do remember you. I believe you are a Royals fan. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you are a Royals fan, let me know how you feel about the Zach Greinke signing. I think you guys also got Amir Garrett. So let me know about that. Trey, what's going on? Ivy Dose, what's going on? Devin says, good afternoon. Let's go Mets, indeed. Connor, what's going on? Jed, what's going on? Mr. Cool, how's it going? Mr. Cool is going to come on with our first, I guess, big comment of the day, and he's going to say thoughts on Freeman to the Dodgers. And honestly, I was not surprised that Freddie Freeman landed with the Dodgers. I think it makes perfect sense. This is a team that is surrounded by all-stars on every single position, every single level. I mean, arguably, I was taking a look at their lineup last night, and I'm thinking to myself, who was the worst player on this Dodgers team? And I looked at it, and I think, honestly, the worst player that I could think of is A.J. Pollock or Chris Taylor. And those guys are arguably all-stars. They can arguably be an all-star. So that just goes to show you how much depth this team has. And, listen, I think it's good. The Dodgers have a lot of talent. I think to some extent it's not maybe the best thing to be super overcrowded with talent, obviously with expectations, performance. There's a lot of other things besides that. But I think this is a huge move for the Dodgers. Kind of unfortunate for Freddie Freeman, I guess. Listen, I really thought that Freeman was going to spend his whole entire career with the Braves. I thought, there's always that one guy that spends his whole time with his whole career with one team, and I really thought it was going to be the Braves. Listen, tip of the cap. He did a lot of great stuff for that team. He started off with them. He was with the organization for 2 decades. Long. Everything in the farm. He played at Turner Field, Truist. I mean, he was with them during their whole rebuilding process. So it just really goes to show you how much and how long these guys worked for. So really tip of the cap to Freddie Freeman with the Atlanta Braves. I obviously wish him the best of luck in Los Angeles. I would say I'm glad, he's out of the division, but hey, they got Matt Olson. So, I mean, what difference does it really make at this rate? But overall, really solid acquisition. In terms of the AAV, I guess, in my opinion, I thought he probably would have made a little bit more money if he stayed in Atlanta. But I guess that has to do with the whole tax rates, and we're not going to get into that, obviously. But really solid move for the Atlanta Braves. Not the Atlanta Braves, for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But hey, I mean, the Braves got Matt Olson back. He's younger. I think he's younger, so that's really what I think some of the benefits are. I mean, if you want to question who's better, go ahead. But I honestly think both sides won to an extent. It's not like, the Braves didn't get anyone back. They got Olson. If they didn't get any first baseman and they had some random guy, I'd say, yeah, it'd probably be bad. But you know what? I'm guessing their new franchise is going to be going in the direction of whether those guys are consisting of Ronald Acuna Jr., Chipper Jones 2.0, a.k.a. Austin Riley. This team really has some solid moves to make ahead. Kobe, what's going on? Marco, what's going on? Goatwater Spots, what's going on? Shorts, what's going on? Trey says, imagine a 5 or 7 game playoff going against DeGrom, Max, Bassett. Mets need to stay healthy and do whatever they can to make the playoffs because that rotation is scary in the playoffs. Absolutely, man. I agree with you. I think, the biggest thing is health. I mean, right now, we've been seeing DeGrom. He has been looking solid in spring training. Obviously, a lot of guys are taking batting practice against him, and he's been looking sharp. I've been liking what I've been seeing out of him. Overall, really, really solid stuff that DeGrom and Scherzer have been showing off. Bassett too. I think the Bassett addition was really nice. It adds a ton of depth. I mean, really solid pitcher. I don't want to get into Bassett too much because I did upload a video on that. So if you guys definitely would not mind, definitely check out my Bassett video. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull up Twitter. I want to see one thing. Sorry about that. Never mind. Yeah. But, yeah, Trey, overall, I agree with 100%. I think this rotation can automatically look really scary in the playoffs. I just think it's going to come down to performance is fine. It's just health. Health is the biggest thing. Right now, DeGrom looks healthy. He's been throwing off the mound well. I mean, getting plenty of swinging and misses. I don't know. His velocity is off, these little batting practice things. But, I mean, he has really been looking pretty good. So I'll take it right now, take what you can get from him. And, yeah. Kobe says, a Mets bench with J.D. Davis, Dominic Smith on it looks pretty good. Put Jeff McNeil at second base. Let them hug it out with Francisco Lindor and let's go. Yeah, absolutely, man. As of right now, I like that bench. Like I said, I've always been on it with Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil has been too much of a great hitter, in my opinion, to just go downhill over something simple as that. Right now, Lindor did come out and, say him and Jeff McNeil are good. That's old news. And I agree. I think that's old news. You have a new manager. You have Buck Showalter. And Buck Showalter, in my opinion, he knows how to handle these guys. I mean, I've bashed Luis Rojas on this channel so much last year. And I think the big thing is you take a rookie manager and you throw like animosity and issues at them. They're not going to know how to handle that because their biggest goal right now is to try and win ball games and focus on the club. A rookie manager is not going to be focusing on, the team chemistry and, whatever. So I think it's good that now you have Showalter in this team. He could really help out some of these guys, and I think he did. Maybe, I know Donaldson and Garrett Cole sat down, with Boone and Cashman, and they said, listen, if you have any crap, tell it to each other right now. I don't know if McNeil and Lindor did that. I think they were good. It was more in the heat of a moment. As of that, I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Jeff McNeil, I like him at second base. Like I said, I like him on the right side of the field. He sees the ball come off the bat much better. I'm for it. J.D. Davis, he could be a DH maybe against righties. And Dom Smith, it's always nice to have on the bench or a DH or, what an off day in the outfield. I'm definitely not against that. Goatwater Short says, yes, I'm a Royals fan. Like Greinke is trying to get a ring by signing us. Yeah, I mean, Zach Greinke, I mean, listen, finish where you started. I mean, I'm big with that. I would have loved to see guys like Verlander go back to Detroit. I don't know, maybe Pujols will go back to St. Louis. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Royals, their rotation isn't, the best. I mean, it's not like, oh, okay, these guys could look scary. They definitely do have a couple moves and guys in there that I think could be nice to help success, whether that's Salvador Perez offensively, whether that's Whit Merrifield, whether that's Bobby Witt Jr. coming up in the farm. I think their farm is definitely pretty good and could definitely help them out a little bit. So, we'll obviously have to see with the Royals, but their rebuild did speed up. I will say that. Albert says, I like the Mets getting Bassett. It adds more depth. Mets just need a left-handed bullpen arm. Yeah, I agree, man. Like I said, since you lost Loop, you lost Rich Hill, I've honestly would have kept Rich Hill, signed him to a short-term deal. He's a veteran. I get it. But he's a lefty, and he's not going to start a game. He's not going to give you 6-7 innings of baseball, but he can go 3-4. I'll take that in a bullpen role. Are you kidding me? As a long reliever, I'll take that. He has a nasty curve, gets swinging and misses. He gets the job done. But as of right now, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The Bassett move is good. It adds depth. That's the biggest thing. But right now, the left-handed presence is really lacked, and the Mets are going to need to find some type of remedy to really try and go after that left-handed presence. And that's my biggest concern is the left-handed presence. You have David Peterson that's healthy. I get it. Lucchesi is not healthy. So that's the big thing. Right now, I've always expressed in the past that I am a proponent of having a left-handed pitcher in the rotation. And people say, oh, it doesn't matter, maybe you could just have it in the bullpen. And yes, I think the bullpen is very vital, but I think the rotation is twice as vital because you're always going to have a lineup out there that struggles against left-handed pitching. And for example, the Mets saw it big time last year. The Mets struggled against left-handed pitching. So you're always going to have a lineup out there that struggles against left-handed pitching. Well, I mean, I couldn't name any off the top of my head, but it always helps. So, like I said, I don't think Peterson is going to start in the rotation. I think they're going to do kind of what like the Brewers did. Maybe they'll, the Brewers, they put Corbin Burns and Woodruff in the bullpen to start off. And as time progressed and as they progressed, they put them into a rotation spot. So their innings pitched. They could work out what they're doing, get in situations. And I think that's what they should do with Peterson, especially because you do need that left-handed presence in that bullpen. So I think that could be something. Comments are flying. I appreciate it, guys. Alex, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, Alex. Go Order Short says, in all honesty, though, I'm happy to have him. I wasn't really a Royals fan when he played for us. He played last with us in 2010, so now younger fans could find. Yeah, exactly, man. I was going to say, he hasn't been with the Royals organization for over a decade. I know he bounced around with, with the Astros, the Diamondbacks. So, obviously Greinke definitely has a lot of unfinished business to do in Detroit. And listen, honestly, good for him. Like I said, when it comes to the younger fans, like you said, they'll be able to see him. Listen, I think Greinke has some stuff left in the tank. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's fully done. I think Greinke has some stuff left in the tank. The barrels, the long ball, he may not be able to go as far in innings as he used to be, but I think he has some stuff left in the tank to show off. Help out Kansas City. Like I said, when you're a rebuilding team, you always like to have one or two veterans on that squad to help out the younger core, and I think Greinke could pull into that role for the Royals. Alex says, any moves for the Tigers ahead? Yeah, as of right now, what was the last move they made? I know they signed Baez. I know they signed Chafin, which I think that's a solid move. Bullpen depth is important. I think the Tigers really took a big step this offseason in signing long-term deals with Baez. I think those, middle of the end moves like Chafin, those moves are really good. And, they really go a long, far way for a lot of ball clubs. So, Tigers, they're definitely looking good this season. I'll say they're not in the best of divisions. I don't think the Cleveland Guardians are going to be doing much. I don't know what's going on with the Minnesota Twins. They're weird. They're in a rebuild, and then now they want to buy. I guess it's really going to be a battle for the White Sox, maybe. Like I said, I don't see any of the bottom three teams doing much. Maybe like 70 wins, but no playoff contention. Any moves? Maybe some more bullpen arms. I don't think they're in on Story. I don't think they're in on Conforto or Castellanos. Yeah. Timothy, what's going on, man? Timothy says, Hayden, will the Mets sign Tony Watson to a 1-year deal with a club option for the second year? Yeah, my only thing with Tony Watson is the age. How old is Tony Watson? Tony Watson's 36. So like I said, not bad. I know he's been in the league for a while. He's bounced around. Like I said, when it comes to relievers, I don't put a whole lot of thought into them saying, this guy looks elite, we should sign him. One, I would never sign a reliever for a long-term deal. And that is one thing because they are so streaky. Will Aaron Loop be what he was this past 2021 season for the Mets? Will he be like that for Anaheim? Bullpen pitchers are so streaky, and that's why I never like to fully establish trust in them. So I would never sign a reliever for a long-term deal. But obviously, Timothy, you're giving me a short-term deal. It's not bad. Like I said, it's cheap. It's not going to be like, $20 million. It's going to be like $5-6 million if even. And like you said, you have the club option in year 2. So I wouldn't be against it. The Mets really need some left-handed presence. So go for it. Mets need some type of left-handed presence. So I honestly say for the sake of it, hey, go for it. It doesn't hurt. Why not? Go Order Sports' his thoughts on DeGrom possibly testing the market. Yeah, I'm not really worried. I think the biggest thing right now is DeGrom, he's making less money than Scherzer. And when you're Max Scherzer at 37 and DeGrom at 32, you're going to want to make more money. So it makes sense. And, I understand that. He's not opting out because he wants to say sayonara to the Mets. He's opting out because he wants a better long contract, years, calendar-wise and financially. And hey, I don't blame him for that. I think as of right now, he literally stated he's always compared himself to David Wright. He said it's so cool how guys like David Wright, play their whole career with the Mets. And he literally said one thing, and I don't exactly remember what he said fully, but he said something along the lines of like, when I opt out, and when the Mets throw me an offer. I don't know. He said something like that. So he's definitely coming back. I'm not worried. Cohen, as much as I've had my fair share of issues with Cohen, I trust Steve Cohen. I really do. I'm not worried. Trey says all the doubleheaders and fewer days off are going to mean a lot more dipping into AAA pitching staff over the course of the season. Yeah, man, I agree with you. Right now, the Mets need a lot of depth, and I think that is the biggest thing. Depth is important. Pitching depth is the biggest thing. The Mets pitching depth showed to them last year why they went on their slump. It's like a domino effect. Last year, DeGrom went down, and then because DeGrom went down, more innings had to go to, Walker and Stroman, and then, Walker started to get fatigued. So it's really a domino effect with that. So, like I said, you have so much depth. And so did the Mets last year. Going into last year's season in 2021, the Mets entered the season with DeGrom, Stroman, Walker. Carrasco was still questionable, obviously. You had Peterson, you had Yamamoto, you had Lucchesi. McGill obviously was still developing in AAA, so he wasn't in that category. But point is, the Mets had so much depth last year, so that's why I really don't want, to go down the same path. And I think the Mets really do have a lot of depth because I have more faith in guys like Bassett than going into last season compared to a guy like Carrasco or something. So, yeah, like I said, there are going to be doubleheaders. Like I said, we are, I think, going to be making up 2 series, I believe, of doubleheaders. So that'll be at least 6 or 7 doubleheaders throughout. And obviously, don't count out, rain delays or, weather delays or, whatever the reason is. So, there's going to be at least a dozen doubleheaders this season for the Mets. So, like last year, we're going to see a lot more of the bench mob get playing time because of those doubleheaders. I don't really think Buck Showalter. I don't know Buck Showalter's take on this whole 9th inning, defensive adjustments. I'd imagine he'd do something like that. Like maybe, like last year, if we had Almora, he'd put in Almora in the 9th. He'll probably do something like that. I mean, all managers do that. But as of right now, like I said, the Mets are going to be relying on their bench quite a lot, especially for those doubleheaders. And, just because the Mets bench has a lot of talent, J.D. Davis, Dom Smith, Luis Guillorme defensively, obviously, and, the on-base percentage with him. Really interesting to see what Kalioli and Nick Plummer are up to. I mean, hopefully they can get a lot of playing time. I'd love to see that. So really, really interesting for the future for the Mets bench. Goatwater Short says, Lynch, Hernandez, Greinke, Keller gets on track, and Singer might be good. Also, we traded for Javier Baez's best friend, Amir Garrett, and Mike Minor. Yeah, I did see you guys acquired Amir Garrett yesterday. Solid move. I don't know what the Reds are doing. But yeah, like I said, Royals, I mean, let's take a look-see. Let's take a look-see exactly what the Royals have on their bench. I'm kind of curious to see what exactly the Royals have for their staff because, I don't know, Royals roster. Let's see. So let's take a look-see at the Royals roster. And for once, I can actually pull up a roster and not have to look at, stupid black, gray icons, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Active roster. So let's take a little look-see at the Royals roster. I mean, see what they have. I mean, they obviously have some pieces that could work. So I guess let's look at the offensive core. So you have Salvador Perez behind the plate. Defensively, I don't think he's that great, but offensively, he's elite. Okay, so I'll take Salvador Perez. You have Hunter Dozier. You have Nicky Lopez. I mean, solid defensive pieces right there. Great speed, great athleticism. I mean, maybe if Lopez could work a little bit more on the bat. I know he's a shortstop, and, usually for shortstops, defense is crucial, but I think the bat definitely needs to be up there for Nicky Lopez. Great defensive gem, though. Alberto Mondesi, same thing, not powerful with the bat, solid athleticism and speed, great defense. Whit Merrifield, yes, solid, great speed, great athleticism. He'll probably steal your 35, 40 stolen bases. Now that the bases are bigger, I think they definitely have an advantage of that. Carlos Santana, I don't really have anything crazy. The outfield isn't bad. I mean, Andrew Benintendi, Michael A. Taylor, solid. I mean, like I said, this team has a lot of athleticism, young talent. I don't want to compare them to the Marlins, obviously, but I think they have a lot of they have a lot of young talent ahead. And then obviously with that rotation and the pitching staff, I mean, Brady Singer could be solid, Daniel Lynch could be solid, Brad Keller, so you got Zach Greinke, you brought in Amir Garrett. Chris Bubik, I've heard a little bit briefly about him. So like I said, they got some talent there. I think they're developing. I think hopefully Bobby Witt Jr. can make his debut for the Royals maybe next year. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he is an outfielder, so maybe this year wouldn't be the worst thing. Kobe, what's going on? Kobe says, think the Mets will bring back Conforto. Yeah, I mean, bringing back Conforto is, I guess, the number one thing that a lot of Mets, well, maybe not the number one thing, but that's what a lot of Met fans are really focused on. And hey, I don't blame you. I mean, if I think right now, a lot of it is going to come down to, I think, the lockout. And I honestly, realistically can see Conforto coming back. And I think a lot of it will be because of the lockout. I think in terms of in the performance, Conforto had one of the worst times to have a slump. The question is, are we going to see this 2017, 2019, 2020 Conforto? The shift is banned, so maybe that could help him out a little bit, but I'm not going to blame, the entirety of that. His defense is solid. I just think, it's going to come down to him and Scott Boras. And, Scott Boras, like I said, I respect him, but he's a tough son of a bitch. He really is. He fights for his guys to get the best of deals, and I respect that. That's good. Really, good for him. Solid. I respect that. But will the lockout maybe kind of make Boras and, his agency cave and just say, okay, maybe we could sign a 1-year 2 deal. I know he declined the qualifying offer. Maybe he can get something back and then, something short term, whether it's 18 million. And then maybe, try and work out a larger deal if he could prove himself for 2 years. I mean, like I said, a lot of teams would be looking for Conforto on the market. I definitely believe. I think Conforto has a lot of talent that a lot of teams want to go after. I think the Phillies are kind of honestly out of it just because they got Schwarber and, Harper. I just don't see them putting him in center field. So I don't know. Maybe a team like the Mariners. I don't know. I originally had him going to the Mariners because he grew up in Washington, so I thought that could be solid there. So like I said, got a lot of moves ahead for him. We'll see. I would love him to come back to the Mets, but we'll see. Alex says, can't wait to see DeGrom and Scherzer go back-to-back on the mound. Absolutely, man. That's the number one thing that I would love to see. We've never seen something as dominant. We've rarely seen back-to-back Cy Young guys pitch back-to-back. I think we saw with Santana and Glavine maybe in, was it 08 or 09 or something like that. But otherwise, we haven't really seen it recently for the Mets. DeGrom and Stroman was a good 1-2 punch. I get it, but, DeGrom and, Syndergaard and DeGrom was a nice 1-2 punch, but this is much bigger. Marcos is absolutely loving this free agent frenzy. You and I both, Marco. You and I both, man. Nick says, I think Ottavino's signing is underrated. It's only $4 million, so not at risk at all. Yeah, like I said, you're not really risking a whole lot for a short-term, reliever like that. 4.6 percentage barrel, 86.1 miles per hour on average. I want to say that's exit velocity. 30.1. I want to say that's hard hit, and then 81 average movement on maybe one of his pitches. I don't know which one though. Yeah, like I said, pretty solid move. Like I said, when you look at relievers, it's really a hit or miss. Unless it's like an Edwin Diaz and you're trading a lot. Like I said, when it comes to relievers, I don't worry too much on whether it's a signing because they're so streaky. I think the Mets signing Chase and Shreve to a minor league deal was big to kind of find some type of remedy for that left-handed presence we spoke about before. But like I said, it's not like you're trading for a reliever and you're giving up, like 3 prospects or, like how we got Diaz. It's nothing like that. So I'm not super worried. Royals going 162-0. We'll see, man. We'll see. Trey says, any guys to keep an eye out on spring training? Can't wait for it tomorrow. Yeah, man. There are a couple guys. I think Reynolds is definitely one guy to keep an eye on for second base position. Obviously, Khalil Lee and Nick Plummer should be getting a lot of time to see if they can make the roster. Which I believe Khalil Lee will, but will Nick Plummer, they want to try and make the roster and solidify a full-on spot for them. So there's going to be a lot of moves for those guys. Who else is obviously there? Obviously, Mark Vientos, keep an eye out on him. His power is insane. Definitely could categorize as a DH this upcoming season for the Mets. So, keep an eye out on him. Brett Batty also, talks of him making, the league maybe in September or next year. Francisco Alvarez, like I said, he's a catcher. So when it comes to catchers and prospects, I like them to be developed much more because it's a harder position than, the outfield or first base or, third or whatever. So Alvarez, keep an eye out on him because he's awesome, but I don't think he'll make the bigs this all. Maybe he'll be moved up to AAA, but that's all I really got for him. Yeah, I guess those are a couple guys, Trey. Kobe says, going any spring training games? Yeah, I'm actually going tomorrow because I live in Florida. I'm going to be going to Port St. Lucie tomorrow. I live about an hour south of Port St. Lucie, and I'm going to be going to the Mets scrimmage game, blue versus orange, and there's going to be free drinks, free parking, free admission. I'm going to be going there, and I'm also going to be going there. Hopefully, I'll get some autographs, meet some of the guys. Some friends that I'm going to be meeting down there. And of course, players, who knows, maybe I'll get an autograph. A picture would be nice. Fingers crossed. I mean, DeGrom would be nice. Alonso, Nimmo, McNeil, those would be like the 4 guys I'd love to meet. Obviously, Lindor and Scherzer too. But yeah, super excited to go tomorrow. In terms of other games, we'll see. I know I'm going to a couple regular season games. I will be traveling this summer. I'm going to be going to Chicago, go to 2 Cubs games. I'll be going to Cincinnati, going to a Reds game, and going to Detroit and see a Tigers game. Possibly, like I said, I live in Florida, so maybe I'll hook up a couple Marlins and Mets games. We'll see. I mean, Marlins got a lot of talent this year, young talent that I'd love to see. So I definitely would love to see my boy Chaz Chisholm Jr. Down there. So yeah, we'll see. Nick Rickman, what's going on, man? Nick says, Hayden, did the Cubs sign VR? Yes, the Chicago Cubs signed Jonathan VR. I'm not exactly sure on what the full-on deal was, but I believe, yes, they did sign Jonathan VR. Solid move for the Cubs to bring him. Like I said, they lost Matt Duffy, so, you want another bench role. I don't know what the Cubs are doing. I mean, I guess they're trying to fasten their rebuild, I guess. And, well, maybe it's not a rebuild, but fasten what they lost for. When they lost Baez, Bryant, Schwarber and Rizzo. So, I think bringing in Seiya Suzuki was solid. He has insane power. I mean, Suzuki could definitely be something. I think for the fact is Suzuki has such power hitter numbers. I mean, his ISO, his power production is crazy. And for being such a power hitter, having a high average and high on-base percentage and a great walk rate is insane. Really good. So yeah, like I said, really interesting that the Cubs are, making some moves. I think the VR signing was nice. I think the Suzuki signing was nice. I think the Stroman signing was good for them. So we'll see what the Cubs have in store this season. I mean, they have some nice guys, Frank Schwindel, yeah. So we'll see. Alex says, if Conforto is smart, he will take the 1-year deal to have a better season than 2021. And then exactly, man. I agree with you 100%, Alex. I think that is what Conforto should do. And I think because of the lockout, due to just the sense of urgency him and his agent are going to have now, because you only have so much time. I mean, does he want to, choose a team, 2 weeks before opening day? No. So I think it makes sense to do it with the Mets if he is going to do that, because he knows most of the guys in the front office to some extent. So I agree with you, Alex. He should. Trey says, which player that struggled last year will have the best bounce back? McNeil, Lindor, McCann, Davis. So I actually posted something on Twitter about that. So that's funny you bring it up, Trey. Out of all those guys, I'm probably going to go McNeil and Lindor. When it comes to McCann, I guess a lot of people were high on him, but he was never really a full-time catcher. I mean, he had a short sample size, so yes, his framing metrics and all of his stats are going to look good in a short time span. If he's an alternate catcher, I think he could be solid, but, are the Mets really going to give $80 million to an alternate catcher and make Nido your full-time catcher? Beats me. But like I said, McNeil and Lindor are my big two. Like with Lindor, I think now Lindor has played a season in New York. He knows what it's like. He said that he was going through a lot, and I'm not going to make excuses for him. He got married, he had a child, and he's trying to get used to New York. I think the McNeil and Raccoon incident kind of had a little bit of a toll on him. So I think he has his first full season in the belt. I think he feels comfortable. Him and McNeil are fine. I think he's ready to provide a solid, maybe not $341 million production, but, maybe, 25 homers, 80, 90 RBIs, WRC plus, 140, something like that, an average of 270, 280, that'd be my ideal for Lindor, and obviously above average defense, which he already has exemplified in New York. McNeil, like I said, it really comes to his batting stance. We saw so many times last season where he'd be stepping up to the bat, and he'd be like this, or he'd keep the bat like that. His stance and, his stride really screwed him over last year. So McNeil did recognize that. He said he's been working with Chavez and Showalter and, the hitting instructors to try and, I guess, solidify himself to be, not constantly change up his, I guess, stance so much to mess it up, because we see. But I think the shift getting banned will definitely help him out. We'll see him, work the count, just plunk the ball in the field, go opposite way. I don't think he's a power hitter, so, I'm not going to be expecting, 25 home runs from him. Maybe, 10 could be nice, maybe 15 calling it. But I'm not expecting him to have power. Just be another table setter, high average, high, on base percentage guy. He has above average defense, really good defensively. So we'll see. Thomas says, why are the A's and Reds calling it quits and rebuilding right when they have an extra playoff spot? And yeah, I mean, that's a really good point you bring up there, man. I think as of right now, it really does make no sense because, they have an extra playoff spot. And was that maybe designed necessarily to keep certain teams from doing this? Could be. Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, I think it's definitely a possibility. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm getting a message from someone. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, my apologies. I was just getting a text how to inform someone of something. But yeah, like I said, maybe was this designed necessarily to start, preventing teams from doing this? It could be. It's a solution. But, the Reds, they really had talent there. I mean, they really did. You had a solid rotation of Gray, Malley, and Castillo. Solid 1, 2, 3. I mean, nothing crazy, but solid. Definitely can get the job done to some extent. So I really thought they got that. And you had, a solid, you had Votto, India, Castellanos, Winker. You had some production there. So I was kind of curious on why. A's, I don't know with the A's. They're a very odd team. They're a very odd team in my opinion. Like I said, they also had the talent there too. They had Chapman, they had Olson. Like I said, they have that money ball mentality. So regardless, they always have something done. Right now, they really just have, I guess, Minaya really left. And Montas. So, I don't know what they're going to do with those guys. So, we'll have to see. Really interesting to see what's going on for them. Nick, what's going on? Nick says, Hayden, did Freeman sign with the Dodgers? Yes, he did. He signed 6 years. That is true. Like I said, I went over that before. Really solid move for the Dodgers. Luckily, the Braves got Olson in return. Kind of unfortunate, I guess, and I'll say as a Mets fan to see Freeman go to another team. Regardless if I hate him or like him, it's going to be weird. But I thought he was their franchise player, but I guess Acuna and Riley, are. So, like I said, solid signing for the Dodgers. Robert, what's going on, Robert? He says, what you think of Bassett? Good pickup for the Mets, and I was thinking of Chapman was going to be with him in the trade. Yeah, I think Bassett was an awesome signing, Robert. If you do want to hear my overall best thoughts on it, definitely check out the video I did upload about that. That would be appreciated. But realistically, yeah, I think that the Bassett pickup was solid. It solidifies depth. I get it. You didn't really give up. You gave Aller and Jin up, which maybe I would have liked to kept JT Jin. Would have been nice. But they both have a long ways to go. So you could definitely make up for the farm. And like I said, the Mets should be getting a lot of picks in the with the draft compensation for Rocker and, other picks in the draft this year. So I'm not super worried about that. But yeah, I think Chapman could have been nice. But you got Escobar at third. They were really – you would have had a whole-on congestion of, I guess, the infield if you brought in Chapman. But still a great guy. And, I wish Chapman the best of luck in Toronto. I think the Blue Jays are going to be nasty this year. I'll tell you that. The Blue Jays are going to be nasty this year. Marco says, who should be the number 5 starter, McGill, Peterson, or Carrasco? I'm actually going to do a video on that, Marco. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm actually going to be doing a video on that. So definitely do not worry. That will be coming soon. Commented again. Nick, what's going on? Goatwater Short says, I met Lopez during a range delay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's pretty neat, man. Trey says, the small market teams are making a lot of noise. Tigers. Yeah, I guess so. You guys should keep Conforto. I agree. Timothy says, will the Mets sign Tony Watson to a 1-year deal with a club option? I could see that. And trade Davis, Diaz, Mauricio, and crying to the Brewers for Josh Hader. As of right now, probably no. Like I said, I'm not against trading away Mauricio. I mean, yeah, you are getting rid of Diaz, so then I guess that 9th inning hole would be open for him. I honestly wouldn't be against it, to be honest with you. Goat Water, 1 to 3 years, you said? Yeah, I think that'd be fair fucking for now. Maybe 1 or 2. CJ says Cardinals got Corey Dickerson. I did see that. Solid move for them. I think nice depth for them. Cardinals have above average defensive team. Cardinals are looking good this season. Who knows? Maybe they'll get Story. Imagine. LFGM says Alexander. What's going on? Trey says Lindor was in over his head last season. Put on way too much pressure on himself. New York is in Cleveland. Fans are going to have to a lot more intense. Good. Yeah, I definitely think so, man. Khalil Lee should be interesting for you guys. That's right. Yeah, he was in the Royals farm system. Yeah, definitely interesting to see what Khalil Lee can do. Like I said, Lee, solid guy, good defensive 9th inning guy as of now. I don't think he needs to make more contact. I think that'll be the biggest thing, but I'm looking forward to him. Daniel, what's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in, bud. Daniel says, hey, man, Mets need to sign Tepera and trade for Rogers. Yeah, I mean, right now, definitely they do need some bullpen help. Tepera could be nice, and Rogers could be nice. Kobe says, will Alonso win a Gold Glove? I think it's possible. Yeah, I mean, that is Pete Alonso's goal. He's expressed that he would love to be a Gold Glove caliber player, and Freeman's out of the league, so I think that could help his chances. You have Olson, but we'll see. Olson could definitely be a contender. I don't really think there's many other guys in the NL that could contend for a Gold Glove at first. So it's definitely possible. He's young. He's 27, so he has plenty of time, obviously, to have that possibility of winning a Gold Glove. He's improved a lot defensively, I'll say. I think his fielding percentage was like 907 or something this past season. So he's been much better defensively, I'll say. He's cracked down on the errors. He's covering first base. He's doing a pretty solid job. So I'd say it's definitely possible. But I think a Silver Slugger is more likely, in my opinion. Montas could be the Royals trade target, I've heard. I don't know about that, but it would be nice. Yeah, personally, I could see Montas. I can honestly see Montas going to the Tigers. Not the Tigers, the Dodgers. Because one thing that I kind of talked about with the Dodgers is right now they have Gavin Lux still. Where are you going to put him? You're going to put Muncy at second, Freeman at first. Maybe trade Gavin Lux, and you could get a guy like Montas and some pitching, because that 4-5 spot in the Dodgers rotation, little questionable still. Daniel says, yeah, man. Daniel, it makes zero sense. I mean, like I said, they don't want to give Arenado that money, but they'll give it to Bryant. Rockies make no sense. So now you have to give Bryant this plus $50 million for a guy who's not even playing on your team. They're a small market team, so $50 million is a lot. I honestly, I said that last night. I said, watch. And that's why these teams make these moves. So they could trade at the deadline. Yeah, that'd be really awesome. Mets Blue Jays World Series, I'd be down to that. Blue Jays are probably my favorite AL team. I think you did ask that. Detroit isn't a small market team. I don't really think the Tigers are necessarily a small market team. They have money, just rebuilding, I guess. Yes, Nick, I have heard. Hayden, have you heard Matt Olson has signed an 8-year deal with the Braves? I have heard that. I have. McNeil's looking good during spring training. I agree. I think he has. CJ says Mets should use David Peterson out of the bullpen. I agree. Mets need some type of remedy in the left-handed presence in that bullpen. Like I said, like what the Brewers did with Woodruff and Burns. They put them in the bullpen. They developed them, and I think that's what they should do. I think that's really what they should do. So we're probably going to call it a stream here. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. Compared to the Cardinals, I can see that. They need some depth. So we're probably going to call it a stream here. Like I said, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in to the stream as always. Like I said, we're gonna have to see where things go. We have a couple more free agents to sign. A lot is to come for the New York Mets and for baseball. Let's go baseball. Let's go Mets. I'm really looking forward to this season. Tomorrow I will be in Port St. Lucie at the Mets Spring Training Complex. So definitely, hopefully, maybe I'll take a couple pictures. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I will. Sorry about that. I will definitely be posting that on Twitter. So definitely keep an eye out on for that. But yeah, like I said, everyone, feel free to give the stream a like, comment, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Tell your friends about this channel. Definitely tell your friends about this channel. Please feel free and check out the videos I did in regards to Bassett and in regards to the New York Mets bringing in Ottavino. yeah, otherwise, we are going to have to see. Till next time, baseball fans, see ya.